The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello, good evening and welcome. And I would just like to say on behalf of us all, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Hello, this is the Sci-Fi Film Podcast, and I am Andy Walker, and I'm with my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello.
Hello. And yes, this is our last showish. Well, it's not a proper show as such because there isn't a review on it per se, but
It's more of a roundup.
it is a roundup or down. But this is our last one of 2024, and yes, what we are doing is we are going to go through, as this is the end of our fifth year doing this podcast, we're going to do our top 5 films, the best films that we think we've reviewed, in our opinions, and the bottom 5, the worst films that we've reviewed, in our opinion. And there may be some honourable mentions and a few other things that we might talk about in between.
Yes.
So now the question is, do we start with now the bottom 5 is going to be, number 1 will be the worst film.
Yep.
And the top 5, number 1 will be the best film.
Yes.
Okay. Because we will count down. So the question is, do we go through the whole of the worst ones or do we alternate?
Alternate.
Okay. Do you want to start with best or worst?
Let's start with, I suppose, let's start with the worst ones because we'll get that out of the way. And
Okay.
some people listening to this might go, "Oh, that's a bit predictable," or "We know that." But let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if we've lived up to people's expectations.
Okay. So what was your number 5, the 5th worst film we've done?
See, I tried finding I tried finding actually ones to do this with, and I realised that there was more of a group than there was just one singular film, and it's mainly just anyone that had time travel in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Come on.
But I suppose thinking about it, there is one. I can't remember the life of me what it's called now. But yeah, it's mainly just there's a few time travel films that were done that I've sat there and I'm like, okay, I can sort of believe, I can sort of do that, but there are a few that I sat there and like, no, can't.
Right.
So,
Was there any one in particular you can think of that you really disliked, though?
is it Loop? I'm trying to remember which one it is now. I think it might have been Loop.
I don't know about Loop.
I can't remember
We
which
did
one it is.
Looper, which was the one.
The Looper's one of them. The feature film we done of Looper, which just for me was just absolute rubbish.
Right.
It's a good. I enjoyed the people who did the action films are in it. But the whole premise behind it was just
Okay.
you send your person back in time to kill him, and you know that's when the death's up. It's like really. So you change your life then?
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I got to say, for me, number 5 for me was an Australian film called Body Melt, which was the
Okay.
one where there was this company experimenting on humans and people were melting from the experiments that were being done on them. And
Oh yes.
it was just absolutely awful. The acting was awful. The story wasn't great, and the
Yeah.
effects were pretty naff.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so that's my number five. I'd definitely put that in there. Okay. What about the top five? Number five, so your fifth best film.
This Beth film actually surprised me a bit, and it's one that we've done recently. And I've seen so many people actually review this after we've done it, and it blow up massively. And that was actually The Chair.
All right.
I've liked that. I like that film, and I like the way it was done. And I'm saying since we've watched it, I've seen it blow up so much. There's loads of people review it, and it basically just everywhere I've looked on different review things, someone's going, "Have you seen this film?" It's just it's blown up so much, and I genuinely think it's such a really good film.
Cool. Yeah, no, I didn't think about that one, to be honest. Yeah. Uh, my number five for best films is possibly going to be one that's going to divide some people. And I'm not sure whether you will agree with it or not,
Okay,
but it's Low. It's the one where
okay,
the guy summons a demon who then shows him where his life has gone wrong. But it's all done in this darkened room and it's got musical
oh
in it.
yes,
And
yes,
I just find that film fascinating. I don't know why, but I just find it incredibly fascinating to watch.
yes, I remember.
It's a very odd film, but
Understatement, but
I,
yeah.
I really liked it. I don't know why. It was something about it that just really grabbed me for some reason. Okay, bottom five, number four,
uh, this is mainly because of the age of it, but it was Demons.
Demons.
Yeah,
Oh,
I I don't know if it's just because of the fact it was the age of the film or what, but I sat there and I looked once. I looked at all the stuff we've done, and I looked at that, and I was like, I can't genuinely just not put that on the list.
fair enough.
It just didn't, and the fact that they made a sequel to it,
See,
it
the only thing about Demons that has always got me is the fact that it's like sort of you get to a point where there's no way that these two people in the cinema can possibly survive because they're surrounded by these demons.
yeah.
And for no adequately explained reason, the helicopter crashes through the roof of
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
cinema.
It's one of the moments you sit there and go, "All this is over and done with," and then that happens. You're like, "Well, of course, yeah." One night think of that. It's just it was one of them things. I sat there, it's like it's just it was just a ridiculous film.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Well, my number four, I don't think people will be too surprised about, to be honest. My number four, and it may be surprise you that it's as far down as this.
Okay,
My number four was the 1980 version of Humanoids from the Deep.
okay,
It's an awful film. It's terribly acted, and it's got Doug McClure in it, which, but to be honest, one of its saving graces is that it's got Doug McClure in it. It's just sort of like it makes it into a bit of a funny film. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I just, even now, I think to myself, it's just an awful film. And I know there are lots of people out there that really love it. And yeah, one of those things,
yeah.
I suppose.
No,
Okay.
I don't see people's. I don't see people's like of that film. I don't understand it. But yes, so
Number four on the top five.
actually was what we've just reviewed, which was Uzumaki.
Oh, okay.
I I genuinely liked it, and like I said in the review, it's weird for us to watch something, be it film or short TV program, where I've sat there at the end of it and gone, "This has made me feel uncomfortable," and not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like it's genuinely made me go, "Oh my god!" And like physically and mentally. And I sat there afterwards and I was like, I really liked it
Oh,
because of that feeling that he gave me.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Cool. Well, my number four was Midnight Meat Train.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, the re main reason was for that was that I really wasn't expecting it to be any good at all.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought Bradley Cooper was excellent in it. And I also thought that Vinnie Jones was really good in it.
Yeah.
And the kind of the end of it when you find out about the demons and all that sort of kind of thing, I just thought was a great ending. I just really enjoyed that film, I think the reason I've put it on here is because it surprised me at how good I thought it was.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Okay, number three on your bottom five.
See, I think that this is going to be a bit of a. I don't know whether or not it is actually, but I think it might be a bit of a split between me and you. Because actually, Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
No, well, yeah, I know I can see that. It's not the greatest film in the world.
No, it's
But
not, and
it,
it's just such a. Oh, I get the fact it was made in the time where a lot of a lot of films like this were made, but really, it's just, I have anything that you could have done. The fighting Martians for a start, but it's just so much about it that I sat there and I was like, this is awful.
I don't know. I mean, I quite like it because it's a bit of silliness, a bit of sort of, 50s sci-fi silliness that I don't think was ever meant to be taken serious. Or maybe it was. Maybe I'm missing something, and it was meant to be taken seriously, and it was just, yeah. But no, I can see that. I do get it. I do. Okay, number three for me
Yes.
was Heavy Metal 2.
Oh God.
I mean, the first one wasn't absolutely fantastic, but Heavy Metal 2 was awful. The only good thing about that film was some of the music in it, not even all of the music.
No. Yeah, no, I give you. It was only some. It was only some.
But the rest of it was, I mean, there was some really awful sections of it, and on the whole, it just really didn't work for me at all. It was still all a bit kind of mashed up and I don't know, just a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay, number three on the best.
This is actually one I see during the horror film festival that we watched.
All right.
Actually, Mr. Punch.
Oh, okay.
I genuinely was like, as the one, there was a lot we saw over the horror film festivals that we've seen, but watching that this year, it I think it's because of the fact that obviously I know the area and I've been to places like, but it's sort of I've been in little even though it's filmed in Clacton is um I've been in them little towns where everyone knows each other. A lot of them are superstitious and they've got to do this and I just loved it all about it and the fact that it was the twists and turns in it of who what everything was going on and I think it was just such a great film to watch.
All right. I didn't see that one, so I don't know. I can't really comment on that,
Yeah,
but sounds good.
it was a reason. It was an amazing film to watch, and I would love to be able to watch it again. And it's just such inspiration because the main actor in it was a star from Hollyoaks. So as we got told that he was on a break from doing Hollyoaks to turn up to then do their bit on the break that he was meant to be breaking from acting just to film that and then went back. And it's just like I feel it's just amazing the fact that he was like, yeah, right, I just went along and done this film. And I think it's just
Yeah,
such
no,
a
that's fine.
cool
Yeah,
idea.
that's good. Good. Well, my third one on my best is it's on this list for a similar reason to the Midnight Meat Train. And number three for me was Spaceman.
Yeah,
I thought it was an excellent film, and I think again it was a film that I really didn't expect to like because I am not a fan of Adam Sandler at all.
yeah,
But it was a really good film. It's a great atmosphere to it, great effects, and I just thought it was a really well made and well put together film, and well acted as well.
yeah.
I was really quite impressed by that. It really stood out. Okay, bottom five, number two.
I I've got see. I found this hard to actually do because I was debating whether or not I should put this lower or if I should put it should have left where it was, or even if I should have had it on this list at all. But it was actually what started this all off. Mainly because of the fact that I grew up watching the Banana Splits. because of you, we watch stuff on TV, and then I watching the videos of it, and I grew up watching it, and I used to love banana splits, and then watching this film, it ruined the banana splits for me.
The Banana Splits movie. Oh, okay, fair enough.
I I was yeah, I'm in an iron about it, and I would say ruined it, but I sat there and it really, really disappointed me because I thought this is going to be amazing, especially with, like the way the animatronics are going lately, and like just I've watched some other films about things like that and then watched that and I was like, oh my god, and the acting was atrocious in it as well.
I know it
But
wasn't
it was one
brilliant.
of them
It
films
was,
that I sat there and I genuinely, when we first started doing it, I thought, you know what, I'm really going to like doing this. I'm really going to enjoy it. And this to start off great and we're just getting it better. And it started off with that, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, no, I must admit it wasn't the best film in the world, but why I think would be interesting would be to have that on a kind of triple bill. I reckon if you had the Banana Splits movie, Willy's Wonderland, and Five Nights at Freddy's on a
what to
triple
see the
bill,
progression of how it got better.
I just think those three on a triple bill would be really cool.
Yeah,
It'd be quite a good night to have. But no, fair enough. I understand that. Okay, what was that? Oh, that was
number
number two
two.
on the worst. Yeah. Now, without wanting to repeat myself, number two for me on the worst is the 1996 version of Humanoids from the Deep, which I honestly didn't think that anyone could take that story and make it worse, but they did. They made it awful with worst acting,
Which
worst
I've got to admit, for
effects.
the first film to have worse acting than that a was a feat in itself.
I know it just I sat there when we watched that before I actually did. I have a tendency sometimes to watch these films through and just sit and watch it and then sit and actually analyze it and do the review. I sat there and watched that film right the way through and got to the end of it and I thought, oh my God, what rubbish.
Yeah, when we watched that film, when you suggested that film to me the first time, I sat there and I was like, did it put not only did it put me through it again, but you did it put yourself through it again. But then I thought to myself, oh, I genuinely done the stupid thing of it's a remake. You can't be as bad as the original.
It's worse.
Yeah,
How is
it's
that
this.
possible?
Yeah, it's one of the few ones where it is actually worse than the original.
It's quite an incredible feat, and I don't know. Yes. Anyway, right. Okay. So, top five, number two.
This is mainly just because it is one of my favourite films. The
Okay.
fact that when we got to do Starship Troopers, I genuinely love that film anyway. I always have done. I think it's such an amazing film, and for the time that it was released and done, the filming of it, the way that it was done, certain aspects of it doing like the whole you're watching the film, but it's also a sort of documentary with if you want to know more bits and the other
Yeah.
bits that are going on. I think it's very well done. I love this film. I always will do and always have done.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed watching that. It was a good film. I'd seen it before, but it's a
Yeah,
good fun film to watch. It's a kind of, it's a kind of sci-fi fun action film.
yeah. It's weird as well to see that where certain actors were in this that then went on and done. Although, well, obviously you've got Clancy Brown that's in it, you've got Jake Booty, and there's just sort of people that you've got gone on and done other things. You're like,
Yeah.
it's just it's sort of seeing as many of them there were in that one film.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
just
agree.
such a and it's just like it doesn't look like he's got that high of a budget now, but to see and watch everything all together, and it's just like it for me, it's such a great film.
It is still an enjoyable film to watch, I
Yeah,
must admit. Okay. Well, number two is for me one of the best films is again it's one of my favorite films of all time, and that is Cube.
yeah,
I absolutely love the first Cube film. I've said it before, but I think if they'd have just made that one and not any of the others, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah,
All of the others kind of detracted from it a little, but just the whole thing of that these people meeting who you have no idea why they're there, they have no idea why they're there. And what I love most about it was the fact that at the end of it, it was completely unresolved.
yeah,
And it's great because it's kind of got bits in it that are kind of gory and a bit odd. And there are bits in it that you just kind of go, what? What's going on there? And it kind of, I really like it because of that, because it kept me thinking all the way through it.
yeah,
And it's enjoyable to watch. Okay, before we get to number one, there must be some honorary mentions, I think. I mean, there must be some that we've
yeah,
done over the time that we kind of like to give a bit of a shout out to all of the independent filmmakers that have contacted us and that we've reviewed short and feature films for, and that we've done interviews with,
yeah,
because that's kind of like one of the things we do on here that I think a lot of other people don't. Um, and also the Spencer and the team who organised the Romford Horror Film Festival. I mean, we're still not absolutely sure what's happening next year with it's going ahead. Whether or not we'll be there to review it, I don't know yet. It depends on how it's being sorted out. But they've done an incredible job building that up over the last few years, and it's really good to see that happening. Um, Little shout out to the people at Deformed Lunchbox, because we always do.
yeah.
The
It's
stuff
just,
is
I was going
always
to say,
worth
it's
looking
just
at.
the people that we've, not the massive shout out to the people that we've, over the last 5 years, we've grown, had friendships with, and grown contact with, and
Yeah,
helped us out with things like we've spoken to, and they've passed on their their sort of wisdom, and even put us out, or put like some of the film things that we've done out on their platforms and all that. And it's just amazing. Like, as well, we were saying about that, there is the obviously the honour mention for the film that you were in,
yep, yeah,
that obviously wasn't the film Lunchbox put out on their channel and
yeah.
pushed it out as much, and like helped out with that. And I just saying, there's obviously Nate as well having his
Nate
bits.
Thompson, yeah,
Yeah, Strange Films, Emma, John, just people that we've sat there and had interviews with, and have gone into great depth, more than most people would have done with two people that just don't know what they're doing,
yeah.
but have gone into great depth and talked to us about things. And it's just been such a great experience over the last 5 years. So
It has definitely. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Okay, so on to the number one. Right, number one worst film. The worst film you think we've ever reviewed in 5 years of doing this podcast. What do you think the number one worst film we have done is?
it's really bad that I was split
Right.
between the original Humanoids of the Deep and Starship Invasion.
Well, no, I can understand that. I can understand it completely.
I
I've got to say, before we go into any more depth at all, I've got to say that my number one worst film that we have reviewed at all in the last 5 years is Starship Invasion.
so I think, yeah, it's that one. Obviously, you put Humanoids in the both Humanoids in the Deep, and yours we ripped that. But Starship Invasion, I think for me, it's got to edge it just a little bit.
I
It's
I cannot believe that there is any film in the universe that can have Christopher Lee in it and be so awful. I honestly thought that Christopher Lee was one of these actors that could save any film,
oh
but it's just dreadful.
yeah,
Everything about it.
I totally agree with you. I love Christopher Lee, and watching any film he's in, I genuinely sat there, but this has made it so much better. But watching Starship Invasion and seeing Christopher Lee in it, I genuinely wanted to go, just take everything off and walk away. Just
And
just
it's
walk away.
I was I was trying to think of something. I don't know if I used the phrase when we did the review, but I was thinking about Robert Vaughn. And
Okay.
Robert Vaughn, again, he's been in a lot of films that I've liked,
Yeah.
and a lot of TV things that I've really liked. But for some reason, this phrase came into my head when I thought about Robert Vaughn. Robert Vaughn on this in this film has the screen presence of an armchair. It's like, there is just no substance to his performance whatsoever. It
No,
could have been a piece of furniture playing that part, and nobody would have known the difference.
no, it's. I know we've watched a lot of films, and there's a lot of films we've watched and done on this that we sit there and make the comment, "Oh, it's a bit of a waste of time." When the credits rolled on this, I genuinely breathed a sigh of relief.
Oh yeah, it is awful. It really is awful.
This film
Um,
was almost the one film that made me want to wish that time travel was actually true.
I must admit, it's not quite the worst film I've ever seen.
Okay.
The only reason I say that is because there is a film called The Day It Came to Earth,
Yeah.
which I've never been able to watch in one sitting because I get to a point where I'm about halfway through it, or I have to turn it off, or I'm going to put something through the TV screen.
Yeah, I get that.
So, I mean, it's not quite the worst film I've ever seen, but it's nearly.
Yeah.
And of course, I would also rate this not on a dissimilar level to La La Land, but it's a personal thing. I just can't stand that film. Uh, okay, so the number one top best film that we have reviewed, the film that you liked best out of all the films we reviewed.
See, we've already given these an honour mention. It is actually Default Lunchbox, but it would have to be for me. It is actually genuinely the first film we reviewed of theirs.
Not that
Which,
make me a sandwich.
yes, make me a sandwich.
Yeah,
It was it was the first film that we sat there and reviewed of theirs, and I genuinely fell in love with their work.
no, I
They
can
are an
see that.
amazing team, and their ideas. I love watching their films because I sit there and watch them go. How are they going to wow me this time? And when they do their films, I do, and I sit there and still want to know what ideas they throw out. But
I'm not
the
sure
fact
they've
that
got any ideas there,
these
to be
films
honest.
they do are so much. The fact that they go like they are so weird and wonderful, but they work. They are so amazingly done, and I just think
Absolutely.
it's such a great team and great at
Yeah, yeah,
filmmaking.
I agree. I agree. And I must admit, my number one, it's unfortunate, I think, that we reviewed this film because it's kind of, for me, it overshadowed lots of other really good films.
Okay,
Um, but it's one of my favorite. In fact, not quite my favorite all-time film, but it's one of my favorite horror films of all time. I think it kind of like there's about 10 films that I kind of move around all the time, that sort of thing, and that's Triangle.
yeah,
It's another one of these films. It's like Cube. It's a funny thing. Both Cube and Triangle were films that I genuinely knew nothing about and saw them on TV for the first time at about 3 o'clock in the morning one night when I'd come home from somewhere else.
yeah,
And both of them absolutely blew me away because the moment I was watching them, I was hooked. And
yeah,
I watched them a number of times and I never get tired of them.
yeah,
But Triangle, I just, it's got, I know it's difficult for you because it's sort of time travel-y a bit because it's kind of a time loop thing, but it's a kind of time loop slasher movie, which is like,
yeah,
yes, what more could you want?
yeah. No, I get the reason why that, and I think there's a few. As I said, there's a few time travel films that have slipped through for me. Like Triangle's one of them. Stimson's Needs one. I think was an
Yeah, yeah.
amazing. Is another. Yeah, I think that's a good one. There's a few that slipped under the radar for me for it. and I
Yeah,
think I let him through. But I do agree with that. I think it's a good film.
it is a really good film. All right, love. Right. Well, there you go. That's our top and bottom five for the last 5 years that we've reviewed. Hopefully, we'll go on to do this. I'm not sure about another 5 years. I'll be old by then.
I'll be older.
I'm really old. I'll be even older.
5 years time was. Oh, I'll be almost 40.
5 years time. 5 years time, we'll be in my mid 60s. There you go. So yes, there we go. Thank you, Scott, for that, for your listings
All
and
right.
for your chattings and things.
Yep.
Thank you to everybody and anybody that's listened to us and watched us over the last 5 years and over this last year. Thank you to all of the people who've contributed to our shows in any way, shape, or form. You are much appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again next year when we have I have already been sent a link to a film that somebody wants us to review for them. So we will have that and many, many more to come, both horror and
Yes.
sci-fi, shorts, films, and feature films, and maybe some more TV series and things. And just as a little sidebar thing, I would like to also give an honorary mention, just purely because of the fact that they've now started a website with merchandise. To the people who made the series, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared,
Yes.
because it was just what it was. If you
Yes.
haven't seen it, go and watch it.
I'd like to say as well that there are other stuff on the Frave Productions YouTube thing that I'm not just me and Dad talking bollocks.
Oh,
Sometimes it's just Dad on his own.
yeah. Oh, there's
But
music
obviously he's got
involved.
his own the music, talking music he does. There's other stuff we've got going on there. There might be some more other stuff from me coming up soon next year. Um, we're going to be putting. I'm going to be sorting out. I just need to work out some logistics. But just keep your eye on it. There's a lot of stuff on there other than just us. Well, there's that
Yes,
it's us, but there's a lot of us. There's a lot more of other stuff. Us doing other things.
yes, definitely. Yes. And if you're interested in any of that, yes, the Three Productions YouTube channel where you will find this podcast and lots of other things, as Scott was saying. Right. So I hope everybody has had a good Christmas. Hope you all have a wonderful new year, and we will see you again in 2025. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.